Welcome to That 80 Show, and today you are going to hear me, but the next voice you hear is not Dory. Dory's got problems. Dory always has a problem, always has a problem in her work life. I'm joined today by somebody who I think is kindred, and anyone listening to this is going to love what we're going to talk about today. And I hope that some of you find your way to go. Like, we've got international listeners, but we also have a fair few South African listeners, and we hope they find their way to get out to, I'm going to let my guest today, Noël Opperman. He produces the most beautiful stuff that catches my attention on Facebook. You know, when you're a show like ours, a retro show, a nostalgia show, Facebook finds a way of getting that stuff to you. And I start seeing this stuff, I go, wow, this is so awesome. Everything looks great. Start looking into it. There's a kindred spirit here. Noël Opperman, I think you are a kindred spirit of That 80 Show. Welcome to That 80 Show. Tell me about yourself, and then also tell me what you're putting on, why everyone should get so excited.
Paulo, wonderful, wonderful. Thanks for having me. It's really an honor. I've always wanted to do this since I was a young boy. I recorded myself when I was young.
We did.
On a normal mono tape recorder and my boombox. So I was the DJ and
we all did
my
it.
ads. And so, yeah, this is quite the journey for me. But thank you for having me. It's 100% we are kindred spirits. It's wonderful meeting people, and they all come out of the woodwork now. We always thought that we were alone in these things. Okay, so we started the Retro Fair for that specific reason. We wanted to activate those core memories of us because we're getting older and older, and we kind of forgot how wild we were once. So
yeah.
So it started out as I collected vinyl records.
Yeah.
And each vinyl fair I went to, I realized that there are some newer, younger people, the younger generations, and they're always accompanied by their dads or their moms, specifically dads, and they are so into what their dads are showing them. And it was interesting for me because that's why Gen X is such a phenomenon to me. We're really a weird bunch. We never wanted to be like our parents.
No.
Do you understand? I don't want to sound terrible towards our parents or anything, but Gen X to me is the first generation that our kids really think that, wow, my parents were so cool. Everything, the music, the fashion, the hairstyles, everything.
So it is so true because, and I don't know if it is obviously, I mean, it's a huge generational thing because I think the jump from kind of our parents to us is massive. Because even if I think like where my parents, I'm 44, right? If I think what my parents were like at 44, it's like, I like to think I'm a little bit cooler. Like, and I think like the music and all of that. I even said something the other day. I said, oh my word, I cannot believe. So my daughter's 14 and she says, oh, have you heard this hip hop song? I was like, that's not hip hop. Here's Wu-Tang Clan. Here's the, and it's like, wow, we're actually like in the stage of like, there's, used to get dad rock, it's dad rap. And it's like, it's quite cool that you share something like that. And all the songs we grew up with are now being remixed and sampled constantly, so we are cool. Basically, that was a long-winded way of saying it, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Right. So what I love about what you described yourself as when we're chatting and setting this up, right, is that what you're putting together as a Pretoria Retro Fair, this is not like some car boot, pop up a gazebo, and it's not anything like that you've seen before. You said you curate everything and kind of all your exhibitors and everybody that's going to be involved in the fair.
That's right. We were very adamant not to market it as another flea market in Pretoria. There are hundreds of them all around, just Pretoria East. Every weekend there's something else going on, and it's always the same thing, or similar thing. You can always take your Yorkie in a cardigan out on a rugby field in the sun and eat some mini donuts, chip and dip, and walk around and hunt for bargains. That's not what we wanted, though. It's I also found that I had to kind of, I don't want to sound windgat or anything, but I feel as if I kind of have to introduce the Pretoria crowd to something unique because it's got the word fair in it. People expect another flea market. So yes, we curate we handpick our vendors. It's more of an event, nostalgic event down memory lane, with a few hand-selected vendors or sellers or brands, if you will, that fit into the vibe. So we will never be a flea market with hundreds of stalls.
Yeah.
We are looking at getting more entertainment out, some music set up, but it's a wonderful vibe, honestly. It wasn't for everyone. I had a few complaints in the beginning because the Tannies expected another fair, another flea market. So, but this will be our third one, and I find that every time I do it, I get less and less complaints. So it's a win for me.
You've done something so wonderful there, right? And we're an audio podcast, and we need subtitles, I think, because you've said two concepts there, two words that I need to explain to even people this side of Pretoria and our international listeners. Windgat is like, I mean, is there even an English word for it?
Yeah, it's
right.
That's right. Yeah, I didn't even think of it.
Literally means like windy ass.
Windy.
Yeah, right. But it's not that. It's kind of like windgat is like you're like cocky,
Cocky,
right?
Yeah,
that's probably it.
Cocky.
And then Tannies. Listen, no matter where you are in the world, you know the Tannies.
You will know it, Tannie.
The Tannies. Basically, it's an older Karen. Karen has grown to Tannies.
Everybody loves Raymond's mom.
There you go.
That's a Tannie.
There you go. That's a Tannie. And
Perfect Tannie.
it's not just Afrikaans, it's universal across all races, across all cultures. We have the Tannies. So even, in the curating part of it, like when we first contacted you and you said, hey, listen, what you guys do on that 80s show totally fits in. We're like, oh, that's awesome, because there is such an authenticity to what you're doing. Like from the look and feel, I want anyone getting now on Facebook and looking at Pretoria Retro Fair, and you'll see straight away, this is something different. It's a celebration of nostalgia. Talk to me about some of your vendors, because some of the people that popped up are so interesting to me.
We have got the best partners. I call them partners because you could immediately, when I approached people from the beginning, you could immediately see who will be on board with only the idea, only the concept that I had. I didn't have any proof that this will work.
You've done one before.
We've done two before.
Okay.
The first one was on Freedom Day.
Yeah.
What a mess, because it rained. It was the Saturday.
Okay.
And it has never rained in June. That previous evening, we had to unpack everything, back it back up. So it was a little bit of a mess in the sense that we were not ready. We didn't know what to expect. We didn't know, will anyone come?
Yeah.
And 250 people pitched up all at the same time. So it was quite the thing. The last one we had was last month, 2 months ago, almost. Of Winter Fair, new venue, and it was wonderful. We had about 300 plus people there, but with each one that we have, we find what works, what don't, what the people want, what they don't want. And it's a fine line between us wanting to, I want to say, enforce something cool on people and hearing what the people want.
Yeah.
Because it's so wonderful to watch when you stand there and you see the people walking around. We're very focused on memories.
Yeah.
That's why we've got photo walls, we've got zones that we make up, like we have a Fontana cafe.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're kidding.
I promise you.
You are kidding.
Where we have our arcade games and old ads. And, we were practically raised by these people, the Portuguese guy and the Greek guy. I mean, have you ever heard the saying when you tilted that pinball machine once too often, Ella, this is not your mother's house.
That's it.
So, or no change for you, take chappies and leave. I mean, these guys, with our parents working, they kind of looked after us and taught us manners and how to behave. So it's kind of paying an homage to them.
It's such a loss, right? That, and we often talk about that on that 80s show, is the corner cafe. That it wasn't just, yes, it was, and it's not about the convenience, because garage shops are way more convenient. It's that this was like a family, and you hear the mother screaming at the back because the husband's like left the chips in the oil too long. Yep. And you go there to play games. You don't have arcade games at home. Maybe you were lucky you had a Nintendo. or golden china, and that's where you went to go play. But you'd get some nudie mags, you'd get your Garbage Pail Kids, you'd get your King Rat chewing, you'd get your King Rat, you'd get your Wix chewing gum,
Loose Draw.
Apparently, you're not allowed selling those anymore.
Well, it's a good thing.
Yeah, it probably is.
But smoking was so cool back then.
Oh, it was all over the place. I mean, getting into an airplane and they had an ashtray in
everywhere.
the
Edgar's,
just all over the place.
The butcheries.
Yeah.
Crazy times, eh?
You got the Fontana chicken. That is phenomenal. You got the arcade games. I see the guys supplying your arcade games. So talk a little bit about them. Because they got the full-on retro arcade games.
Yes. Such an interesting, weird story, actually. He contacted me before the first Retro Fair.
Yeah.
And we spoke a little bit. Well, I say a little bit more than an hour. We just connected, and he asked me if I would be interested in him sponsoring us some arcade games. And firstly, I thought, okay, this must be a setup or something strange. Why would anyone just want to sponsor me with games? So I went and I Googled him, and everywhere I saw him, he was with Richard Branson, standing, playing games, snooker, pool.
It's a big flex, yeah.
With Richard Branson, but he never mentioned anything.
Right.
So first I thought, okay, this must be photoshopped or something.
AI.
I something strange is going on. And then it came out, he actually went, and it gave me such confidence to do what we do now.
Yeah.
Because he was also just a normal guy. He refurbished and built these arcade machines. He went to Virgin Active. He sent an email, would you guys be interested in me supplying you with games?
Yeah.
Richard Branson actually flew over, signed the contract.
Unreal.
It's unreal. And just a normal guy. So such an inspiration. He became a good friend of mine. We both shared our 50th birthdays, end of July, same day. So we're like kindred spirits from different parents, different cultures.
Awesome.
But when it comes to pop culture, I mean, that kind of puts everyone together, everyone that knows about it at least.
Let's jump into some pop culture generally, right? Where do you sit? I see you walking. Listen, I got to tell you about Noel. Comes in here. Dude looks like a rock star. I gotta say this. Like in our building, we got lots of very corporate people walk around here. We next door to an engineering firm. So a lot of high-vis jackets around, Caterpillar boots, right? Safety shoes. So, and even though we do a fair amount of production, have you ever seen voiceover artists, what they dress like?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not great. So Noel walks in here. Dude is in head to toe black, awesome military-inspired black jacket. I got to say, can I say you got a mini mullet going on? Is that the end goal? It's a modern mullet?
It's a modern mullet, but it's soon to be a proper mullet.
You're going full mullet. It's
full mullet.
Listen, looking great. It's fantastic. Full head of hair.
What a wonderful compliment.
At 50. I mean, well done, dude. I mean,
Thanks,
I didn't even get out of my 20s with hair. I didn't even get out of my teens, right?
It's all those warm hosepipe water we used to drink.
Yeah, that's it, right? So he comes walking out, looking out like a rock star. I want to find out where you sit in the pop culture. Even the boots. The guy's even got the boots, man. What are you even talking about? Where are you in pop culture? Music? What were you listening to?
That's the weird thing. It's a few people have asked me, how did you get into retro? And I didn't get into retro. I just never
left.
I just never left the 80s and the 70s. I grew up with music. I always thought that I would go into music, to be honest with you.
You got the look.
Thanks, man. I just don't have the talent. So
don't need that anymore. Don't need it.
That's true. So I grew up with Led Zeppelin and the Rolling Stones and Elvis. My dad's a huge Elvis fan. My mom was adamant. She taught me, she danced when I was still in her tummy. She danced to Led Zeppelin in front of it. Real hippie stuff. And as I grew older, I went through all the stages, quite open to new music.
Yeah.
Rap and reggae and pop even. My very first record that I bought, never forget that feeling, was Like a Virgin from Madonna with my own money.
Amazing.
It's, when I got home with the vinyl, with the record, I couldn't decide where she looked prettier because I wanted to put the cover on the wall. So I cut it in two to put both sides. I'm actually so sad about that. But yeah, I was big Madonna fan when I grew up. Twisted Sister, all the misfits.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it's all the artists that Rodney Seal and those teachers of ours told us not to listen to. They kind of introduced me to them. Black Sabbath.
I love what you said about misfits because, the music industry nowadays is so manufactured that even if you do get a misfit, they're so, would people say Billie Eilish is a misfit? And a fantastically talented artist, but yeah, exactly, misfits. People who just didn't fit the norm and they take a punt on them. Even though it is highly competitive, that's still got, there is a market for this. People are loving this. And especially like the era, the 70s and 80s, when you start getting this crossover where you're seeing artists a little bit more. So if you think like 70s, you didn't see people that much, but now suddenly you hit the 80s and there's music videos and there's magazines and the visual look of an artist is as important, kind of like shits the bed when you come to Milli Vanilli and that whole situation, right? Kind of like the end game of it, right? Do you see that? So again, Pretoria, there must be a market. There's definitely a retro market in Pretoria. I think we're going to take the 80 show on the road out there. The retro festivals that they have at Times Square, Sunbed Arena.
Yes.
Right? So they're having one in September, and Fab, the surviving member of Milli Vanilli, he's going to be performing.
Yeah, that's true.
That's quite wild.
Rob, I think, committed suicide after the whole debacle. And it's so sad because he would have been forgiven by now. But I think the pressure then just shows you how serious we were about our music. And our artistry. We talk often about Milli Vanilli on the show, and I don't know if you saw the movie, the biopic that came out recently. No, it's on. I thought it was going to be on Netflix.
Yeah,
but you can rent it now. But I'm definitely going to check that. I was a huge fan.
And you watch it, and it's a super sad story. We've tracked it, and I mean, it's just a story of pure exploitation.
Yes.
I mean, you just got. I think the producer of Milli Vanilli, who was the producer of Boney M before that, seeing this whole change that's going to happen.
Yeah.
That we're going to have, the visual is as important as the music. And seeing it and kind of going, shit, they got too successful. I don't think they were ever meant to be more than just a novelty act out of Germany, a couple of hits over the summer in Europe.
How cool were they, though?
Oh, there's one scene in the movie, right, where, not a spoiler alert, I mean, anyone who knows the story of Milli Vanilli, let me not spoil this bit, but the one lady, that kind of, as the whole controversy comes out, she goes, I know it wasn't real, but shit, I love Milli Vanilli.
Love it.
And it's true. It's like, I don't care if it's not them. How much music we listen to now is fake.
It's strange. The box set, vinyl box set came out now, and it doesn't have the real Milli Vanilli on them. It's got Rob and Fab on them.
Yeah.
That's the Milli Vanilli.
That's it. Who cares what it was? Talk to me about I saw a post up of the guys who are there exhibiting the vinyls. This isn't just like, and not to discredit, I found some amazing finds in kind of like the guys bringing their vinyls, their vinyls and the secondhand stuff. Amazing. But the guys exhibiting vinyls with you, there's something quite interesting about them, right?
Once again, it's good friends of mine, but they were also not automatically included because we are friends. Okay. They really have something unique to offer. I call them Harry and Varry. Yeah. It's Harry and Werner, good friends of mine, but Harry, for instance, has box sets. He specializes in box sets.
The Werner Schultz, right?
Werner Schultz, that's right. Ear Candy Records, yeah. They're also working on a big vinyl fair, only vinyl.
Nice.
Vinyl and CDs, perhaps, but they're quite knowledgeable experts with anything music. I met them when I started buying my vinyl records. I used to DJ when I was younger, like everyone DJ'd, and when I moved from the platteland, another word for you to explain, to the city, I couldn't wait. To get to Pretoria, but I had to sell all my CDs, all my vinyl records.
Man, no
Some
ways.
of them that Barney Simon gave me, and he signed.
Wow.
We've played together a few times, and to get money to book the flat and everything, moved to Pretoria. So now I wanted to replace at least the ones that I could remember.
Amazing.
And then I
must have been fun though. I mean, it's been quite a journey because you need purpose when you're collecting.
Yes.
So to now replace what you had.
Replace what I have, and then I realized, okay, so the artists and record pressers and companies are really going beyond and above to make nicer, presentable box sets.
Sure.
And inners. I mean, in our day, you could buy them. We thought it was going to last forever. Now they kind of have to justify the price. And they go to a lot of trouble to make it look nice and smell nice and feel nice and sound nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's actually a big addiction that I'm struggling with. It's collecting vinyl records.
I know, it's kind of once you start that. I started on a journey to collect all the pop shops.
Yeah, I need like 4 or 5 of them.
Right, it's a disgusting habit. It's disgusting. You know, we got a friend of the 80s show. His name's Barrett Edelstein. We christened him the chart savant. Got to tell you about this guy, right? He is obsessed with charts. He tells us when he was a kid, he didn't listen to nursery rhymes. His mother didn't play him nursery rhymes. She put on the radio and he used to listen to the charts.
Springbok Radio.
You're right.
Chart.
He's got these books of every year in the charts from the 70s, right? He's obsessed with music. And we first brought him into the show to kind of like, we used to do a kind of stump the team of could we guess which year certain songs were from. And he's since gone on to create his own podcast called The Celeb Savant, where he interviews like everybody and anybody from, he's interviewed Boney M, he's interviewed Tiffany, he's interviewed just so many people, so many new up and coming, just everybody. And he's got this similar to what you're saying. He always asks a question to artists who are nostalgia artists who were in the age of physical music and now you're in digital music. And he always asks like, or they draw this comparison of going like, we don't have that relationship with digital music anymore. Like you said, you bought your Madonna vinyl and to put the covers on the wall. We felt and touched and we just don't have that anymore. And you sometimes miss it. And I think kind of like once I started collecting vinyl again, it's so nice to open it and there's a poster inside and
best, eh?
You know, just like read like you actually do it. And it's like, I think people, it's such a thing we've lost, right?
Well, we thought that we lost it.
Sure.
That's the wonderful thing that I realized with organizing this event. We got all these people together again that kind of were always there, never forgot what we were all about. And not only do we remind ourselves how cool it was, I mean, it's kind of introducing the new generation to something different. And I'll tell you, a big surprise are the young kids. They collect records, they collect merch, Ramones, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath. I mean, anything. I mean, these are kids. They've got the choice between anything they can listen to, and they choose to buy a CD or a vinyl record.
Because you've got to kind of, and even if it starts off with a kid buying a Ramones t-shirt and Cotton On, right? Even if it starts in, because I don't care who you are, if you're into music and when you're a teenager you are, if a band has lasted as long as, you know, Ramones or Led Zeppelin, and there's something to it, right?
100%.
But you know, the kids thing is so interesting, and I think it's one of the things we found through that 80s show, and we always pitched it as going, because obviously you notice this rise in nostalgia, right? And I think COVID was kind of for a lot of things, but that was when we were all going, I'm stuck in my home, nothing new is being created for a couple of months. And you know, before was better. So people kind of like harking back to the past. And that's when we noticed our show really took off. And we kind of pitched it as going, well, you know what? So much of what is new is actually old. And let this be a show where, you know, when your kid doesn't understand the reference in Stranger Things. Oh, this is where it originally comes from. You know, we love it when we see things like that, when a song trends on TikTok and kids are going, oh, I love this song. And it's everywhere. Like Madonna's... I think Like a Prayer is back in the charts because
Kate Bush
it was in Deadpool
with Stranger Things.
So it's so cool to when you see that of going like, you know, this is the podcast to play to your kids when they don't understand the Stranger Things reference, you know. Tell me something. Do you have an obsession with die swart kat?
I do. Borreveld. I mean, these were our heroes, man.
Now, die swart kat was a fantastic show. It means the black cat. I mean, what was it? It was like a kid. He was a kid
He was a kid. His
he
dad
wasn't
worked for the South African Police Service. Of course he
Yeah,
did.
of course.
In old South Africa.
Of course.
Worked in
good propaganda.
Brixton, Moord and Roof probably.
Ooh, they solved all the crimes. Keep your eyes peeled.
And Obori, he had this beautiful sister, Michelle Burtis. Oh, such a crush on her. And he fought crime on his BMX at night with his lame suit on. But it was so cool. Really, really cool.
It was, because I've seen a couple of times you make a SWAT cut reference. The SWAT cut, a friend of the show, he's been on the show a few times. He was actually in line to be the SWAT cut. He auditioned for it. I mean, imagine that. Would have known the SWAT cut. Or we wouldn't have. Like, it's a mystery.
That's true,
like, maybe he's the SWAT cut, but he's so good at, mystery and subterfuge. So other TV shows, 70s and 80s, what were you watching?
Well, we watched everything.
We did, eh?
We did.
Because we didn't have a choice. If you didn't watch it, you watched nothing.
Yeah. We and looking back at it, we really had some gems.
Yeah.
Interstellar. It is so interesting. So Interstar was the show's name. It was based in Cape Town. You could see that it was made by liberal South Africans in those days, because the antagonist looked a lot like P.W. Botha.
Right.
Gorman and Karnati, I think their name was. But interesting, the main characters were based in the city of Cape Town, while enemies were aliens from distant space systems.
Okay.
And only South Africa knew, of course, that there was an interstellar war coming. And only we had the capabilities with nuclear weapons and everything to fight the aliens.
I have never heard of this show.
It's insane.
And you say it was puppets, was like marionette type?
Marionettes, yes, but so well done.
Yeah.
If you guys can Google Interstar, it really is something to behold.
My word.
And I mean, these were shows that we didn't see the propaganda in it, of course. We were too young.
Yeah.
But apartheid was a double-edged sword in a way, because we kind of had to make our own creations.
Yeah.
Our own entertainment. Hasda Siniskas was another one. I think it was the very first show on SABC ever, kids show. That was our fodder then. We watched that every day. And Nils Holgersson.
Yeah.
Remember?
Oh, you're throwing some names, yeah.
Do you remember Nils Holgersson? He's fondly known in Afrikaans as the boy with the biggest fool between his legs. I hope we can say that.
We say whatever we want.
So yeah, it was.
We'll leave the international listeners to Google that one.
Yeah. You guys go and Google that, and then of course later on when the A-Team and Thunder, not only the cartoons.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we had the best car shows. If you think of the A-Team with that van.
Like, have you seen that meme? And it's got the A-Team van, it's got
Airwolf.
And it's got Airwolf, and it's got
Straatvalk.
Yes. Yeah. And it's pick one. Like, how can you?
Yep. And all had the best intros.
Yeah, I mean, theme songs.
Really, really, really lucky growing up where we took our stuff so serious.
We did.
Our entertainment.
And it was so camp. And so kitsch, but my God, we loved it.
But never any violence. I mean, I remember the A-Team, they would shoot these M16s all over the place and cars would just fall over. No one got hurt.
No one's arm fell off, yeah.
It's wonderfully wholesome violence.
Yes, amazing. Yeah, but you had to watch it, because if you didn't watch it,
nothing else to watch.
You're going to go play outside. But that was also another thing, like playing outside. Have you seen that meme that says, there was a day when you and your friends played outside for the last time, except you didn't know it?
Yeah, that comes from...
it's like so sad.
Stand By Me, the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, such a sad quote, but it's so true.
Yeah.
It's there was a day that we all went outside for the last time and we didn't even know it.
There's a risk we run, and Dory and I were speaking about it in a show a week or two ago, about toxic nostalgia, right? And going like, it's easy to reminisce about the past, but also you must remember that the past wasn't the best time for everybody, right?
No, not even for us.
Exactly. And you're going, okay, cool, like we do get that, but like you also can't harp and, don't like, make what's so precious to us bad, it's an interesting thought, and we try to be serious on the show, and we kind of gave it like 5 minutes, and then we moved on and spoke about stupid things like, would Angela and Tony Danza, would they last? Do you think they're still together? They got together. Who's the boss? Tony Manelli.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're still together.
And you remember the ratings dropped because they got together, because it was this big build up.
Secret's gone.
I think Angela and Tony still together. It's a perfect world.
In a perfect world.
There were no divorces then.
Give me your thoughts on another Angela Lansbury. From Murder, She Wrote. She committed all the murders.
Oh, she's
right?
guilty. Of course she is.
Of every single one.
You can see it in her posture when she walks.
She's got that.
You cannot be that cocky, that windgat.
Exactly.
And not know something that
walk around.
Other people don't know.
Do you see the controversy a little while ago about the town that they set the show in? I don't know if they shot the show in this town, Maine, in America. I don't really know where that is.
Yeah, that's Stephen King's.
It is,
town,
right?
Yeah.
And so all the exteriors and stuff and the setups, but I think they shot it in LA. That the article was called "Murder She Toked," and about they wanted to legalize marijuana in this town, and there was like an uprising against it. Like, what would Angela Lansbury do? I'll tell you what she'd do. She'd kill the mayor and get it pushed through.
Yes,
right.
And then blame it on someone else.
She was a genius. Listen, do not underestimate what a criminal mastermind,
criminal tunny can do.
Tell me, Wagafa posters. Am I saying it right? Wagafa. That sounds way more authentic.
Yeah, I think it's Sotho or Zulu for "you are crazy."
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Louis. I've hunted this poor guy down because I saw him one day at the vintage fair.
Right.
So I go around everyone and introduce myself, and I think he kind of forgot about me, but I just kept on bugging him until he said, okay, let's just do this.
And what's he got?
He's got the best pop culture posters, merch, mugs and stuff, but he prints them all himself.
Amazing.
They design them themselves. But it's like to give you a good example, he's got the 4 superheroes, Captain America, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, but they're all fat, wash out, yesterday's heroes, but all very, very nicely done. He's got lots of Harry Potter stuff, for instance, and he just opened a shop now in Centurion.
Okay, cool.
Where you can go and check out everything, but he's such a legend.
It's another thing, like, again, I'm kind of like reliving my teenage years through my daughter again. So, she's at the mall, and like, you go to the mall, like, okay, you can't just hang out at the mall anymore, right? There's no record shop that you could just go and spend hours in, and they didn't chase you out because the staff working there were like,
your buddies,
right?
Yeah.
And they
kindred spirits.
Exactly. You just hung out, and you'd bring a record, and they'd let you listen to it. And one of the things was actually going through all the posters, those big stack of the massive posters, and just looking through them. And I was in London about 2 months ago, and HMV, the like iconic record shop in London, they closed down for a bit, and then they kind of reopened, but not selling music, just selling pop culture, merchandise, arcade games, figurines, action figures, and that. And the part where my cousin, who I was with, we spent the most was looking through the posters. And we go like, how retro are we? Like, we're just looking at posters.
Still remember that sound of that steel frames hitting each other in the OK?
Yes.
I see. The OK bazaars. That's what we used to do if we didn't have anything after school to do. We weren't very sporty, and so we went to the OK in Kroonstad or Klerksdorp, just walk around, play with everything.
That's it.
These people just allowed us to do it.
Yeah.
Because we behaved ourselves. They didn't even know that we were there.
Yeah, exactly. Just stay out of everyone's way.
Stay out of everyone's, just like mom taught you.
Exactly. Be polite. Say your please and thank yous.
Yeah,
and don't bother anyone.
Yeah, just don't do it here.
Just don't do it. Yeah. Let's get into fashions of the 80s. Were you beholden to fashions? You're a dude now. I think can I play amateur psychologist on you?
Yeah.
Okay. I think because you've got such a sobering look. Today I'm in way more color than I'm usually. I'm also usually in black. I think you were full on neon at one stage.
100%.
Yeah, that's what the black now is overcompensating.
Yes. Good assessment. Yeah, we used to go to Margate every year, like everyone did in those days.
When last have you been to Margate? Oh man, don't.
I know. Oof. Everyone says that. Yeah. I heard that with the storms, that Wimpy, the Wimpy where everything happened.
Yes.
That got washed away. So sad, man.
No.
I mean, I practically grew up there.
I'm going to say that to you. Remember that surf shop?
Yeah.
It's still there.
Wonderful.
It's still
Wonderful.
that, and the wimpy is still there.
Yeah, I got my first piercing when I was in standard 8, I think, grade 10. And I still had to hide it from my parents. So you would take it out, put fish gut in.
Fish gut, there you go.
Mom's base, or what do you call it?
And you're fooling no one.
No, of course
No
not.
one's
You're just
falling for it.
thinking, yes, man, I'm doing this.
It's like, I just don't feel like giving you a hiding today. That's why I'm going to pretend I didn't see it. But otherwise, you're getting jacks. Like,
But also they raised me like this. Hey?
Yeah.
It's, they raised me to question everything and
Good.
to be wild. And
hey, dance to Led Zeppelin when you're in the belly.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
it's
true.
like, you know.
Yeah. So it's now it's also a reminder to them, kind of a reality check of, whoa, what actually did we raise here with this wild child?
You're responsible. So you were full on neon in Margate.
Neon, Margate. We even bought, this face cream. You bought the neon pink and green.
The zinc.
Yeah, you put that all over yourself because you wanted to fit in with the locals, and of course you didn't fit in with the locals.
Spotted you a mile away.
You could spot you a mile away. When it's raining, only us would be in the sea. But it was the best memories. Even now, if I think back on it, our matric holidays were in Margate.
Yeah.
When John Rolfe still sponsored everything,
Surfer.
they would
the
fly
surfing,
with
yeah.
that Airwolf helicopter and just drop cartons of cigarettes to all the young kids. And I actually saw Johannes
bizarre.
Kerk oral play at that Wimpy.
Wow.
With the Gereformeerde Blues Band. And we just didn't realize what we had then, because it was all we had.
So much of like this and this kind of reminiscing, we're like, are we just like old farts and everything was better in our days? And is it just because like kids have these experience, right? Kids, we're just not part of it, but it's all we had. Rand show was all we had. Like when they brought Airwolf to the Rand show, it wasn't Airwolf.
Of course not.
It wasn't Airwolf. It was a black helicopter and everything. Yeah. But it was all we had. So we're like, that was our only option.
They had that Airwolf at the Checkers in Klerksdorp, where I was at that stage of my life. And I think the whole town pitched up. I spoke about it on our matric group the other day, where someone posted a photo, and you could clearly see it's not Airwolf.
Yeah.
But we didn't know of better. And also we didn't question. Why would you question?
What we had Kit was at Cresta, a mall around where we grew up, and you could sit in Kit, and every kid remembers sitting in Kit. It's like, it wasn't Kit. There's no way. Another thing I got shimmied in was I remember one of the girls in our school, the rich girl, I could have even been preschool. She had the A team at her birthday party.
Wow.
It was like the A team were there. I was like, oh, like the A team. And in my kid's mind, I was like, the A team are here. Oh, the A team. There are 4 drunk guys. It's like,
probably Leon Schuster dressed up as Mr. T.
Listen, let's have a quick moment about Leon Schuster. You bring that up, right?
Yeah.
Now he's completely cancelled, right? I don't know, I quite understand why.
Yeah.
If Leon Schuster was a famous comedian in South Africa, he did a lot of like hidden prank shows until when he started doing the scripting stuff. Well, you could have left that aside.
It was terrible, but
he was a genius at
pranks. He had to do something else.
He had to, right? Because there's only so many times you can hide a camera. So he was like the first guy to do hidden camera stuff in South Africa. But I think Leon Schuster was an equal opportunity because he just made fun of anyone. He went after absolutely everybody.
And everyone thought it was funny. No one was offended.
Yeah.
Black, white, Indian.
Yeah.
Portuguese, Afrikaner, English, doesn't matter. Everyone thought, because we could laugh at ourselves, because everyone was a victim at one stage.
Yeah.
So I don't think he did it to be nasty or anything, but cancelling the whole cancel culture, I wish someone could cancel culture.
I know.
Honestly, but it feels as if it's coming full circle again.
Yeah, it's got a bit silly.
Yeah, we had to overcompensate with the black for the neon. So we went that way, and now it's as if things are easing out again, balancing again. The world is a strange place. It's vinyl records are coming back and outselling CDs and MP3s again. So we'll be fine. the whole world will be fine. It's just some glitches every now and then, glitch in the matrix.
You know, you probably had some or other outlet in the 80s of people who grew up in the 50s and 60s going, oh, well, they're so crazy in the 80s. Have you seen Boy George? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
What's going on there? You know, we're going to wrap it up. We probably won't wrap it up. We'll pick up on another thing and carry on talking forever. But listen, I think what you're doing, actually, before we go, there's one thing I need to talk to you about. One thing, and this is why I wanted you to be here with Dory. Tell me about the board game you're developing. You're developing, it hasn't been made yet. Hasn't been made
No,
yet. Yeah.
it's a drinking game, not a board game.
I'm in.
That's fine.
Where do I sign up?
Yeah, I have all this knowledge. My brain works in a very strange way, good and bad. I don't forget things. I've got this strange nostalgic mind. I remember all the good. I remember all the bad.
Yeah.
But I've got all this knowledge. Stupid question. Well, I say it's stupid. It's actually the most pressing questions in the whole world. Like, who shot JR?
You know, we did a quiz evening the other night. And like, I got quite a good, like similar, right? You got this brain full of pointless things. And two of the people on the quiz with us, they're an occupational therapist, a husband and wife, occupational therapist, and a prosthodontist. That's like the god of dentists, right?
Yeah.
And they were, wow, Paulo, we're so impressed with your general knowledge. I was like, I'm so impressed that you're doctors. Like, you remember shit that helps people.
Yes.
I remember who shot JR.
Yeah, that's true. We all have our.
I can name all four Ninja Turtles.
Place.
Like,
yeah.
Where's that going to get me?
Yeah. We're designing it so that it looks, the packaging looks like an old VHS tape.
Oh, it's beautiful. We're going to pop up that 80 Show SA face, if we may.
Of course.
Yeah, we're going to put it that 80 Show SA so you can have a look at what.
Yeah,
beautiful.
It's just a bunch of questions that I put together, like Trivial Pursuit, the Swart Cut features, of course. It features what was Borifel's main character. The whole point of it is to get people to laugh at each other.
Yeah.
So you will have your best Get to the Chopper Arnold Schwarzenegger impression that someone must make, and then if they are successful and the other people can judge, he can nominate someone to drink. But it's actually just a silly little drinking game.
It's awesome.
And also, it's not just the questions that are there. I also explain the answer.
Yeah,
so I'll give a
great.
bit of background to, like, Interstar.
Yeah.
It won't
It's
just
my
say
favorite thing I've
Interstar. There will be a little bit of a Wikipedia explanation of what we're on about. So it's just activating those core memories. Honestly, it's we think that we don't know what we forgot. And it's kind of my responsibility to remind everyone.
I love that. The curator of the 80s. That's how you introduce yourself to me. I said up front.
Yeah, I like that.
You're curator. And it's just so great, and we don't know what we forgot. So, like, listen, give me your final sales pitch on the Retro Fair. Dates, times, where people can get tickets.
Yesterday is here. That's our tagline. Be kind, rewind, all these, collect them all.
Zap it in the ZB.
Zip it in the ZB. Our next event will be Saturday, 31st of August from 12 to 6 in Magnolia Runners Club in Brooklyn, right next to the Brooklyn Circle. Crawdaddies for the locals. Everyone knows Crawdaddies. It's 30 Rand tickets online and 50 Rand at the gate. The reason why it's a ticketed event is just so that we can do our planning a little bit. The very first one was a free event, and we were caught very off guard.
Yeah.
So it's a small entrance fee. And then you can obviously, we've got all the entertainment there. We've got the best DJ. JJ is such a legend.
Awesome.
He plays some cool retro stuff. We've got the arcade games. We're working on some entertainment on the quiz.
Yeah.
Quiz that we'll have. We've got a taco combi there, retro taco combi.
I saw that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to get stuck into that.
His name is Hernandez, and he's an institution in Pretoria, just like Nas Botha. So he's traveling around. We are very honored to have him there. We'll have our few vendors there.
Mm-hmm.
We've got retro sweets. We've got merch, comic books, vinyl records, arcade games. We have a piercing artist.
Awesome.
We had Jack Parrow as one of our clients.
You mentioned something, Yeah,
it was so cool. It was so cool. I met him at the beer fest.
Yeah.
Him and Arno Karstens. And I asked him for a photograph. And they said, of course, you are welcome. And I said, but no, I'm going to give my signature to you.
Awesome.
You're not giving, I don't want your autograph. So I signed everyone's T-shirts. Jack Barrow was so impressed with that he came out and joined us and gave
amazing.
a shout out to us. So it's really, I can see that we're onto something cool. It's still small and still a long way to go, but I kind of don't want to wish it away. Even the glitches in the party, we're gonna look back one day and think, shit, do you remember when we had 10 followers?
That's it.
On Instagram, and when we had to run around and do everything ourselves. And so we kind of want to live in the moment, just like we did when we were young.
Exactly.
Don't ever wish anything away, because the future is coming too quickly.
It's a great thought to end on. See, after all the nonsense talking, we end up with some sage advice. You see, that's what happens. That's what happens with Gen X kids. Thank you so much. Listen,
how wonderful. Thank you.
No, you said you handpicked people to be involved, and when you said you wanted to come on this podcast, I was like, awesome. I feel like we've ticked a box.
Yes.
So really happy to have you on.
Wonderful. Thank you.
We'll be popping in to the fair on the 31st.
Yeah,
ourselves.
we should actually work on something where you have a live show from there.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? But I'm not going to play the drinking game before. Else it'll be a hell of a show. It'll be an 8-hour podcast recording world record. I think we'll do that.
A live podcast with all the questions ever.
Everything. So listen, we'll put all the details in the show notes, as well as that 80 Show essay on Facebook. And it is Pretoria Retro Fair on all the socials, right?
All the socials. We're even on TikTok, whatever that
even
means.
On
we call
TikTok.
it a watch, but kids call it a TikTok, so I'm on TikTok.
Well, find us in the yellow pages, even,
Yes.
like if that works for you.
Chappie's Papers.
Hey, there you go. Did you know the Pretoria Retro Fair, it is going to be a killer event for anybody who loves the retro life. And if you listen to the show, we know you do. Noel, thank you so much for joining me. It's been awesome.
Wonderful. Thank you. It's really been an honor. I'll see you guys again. Thank you.